express their opinions and facts gathered on the internet, and we do not wish to offend or cause any harm. Quick apology for mistakes we make in this podcast, whether it's saying the wrong thing, getting our facts wrong, or our bad pronunciation of names, cities, and etc. We also do not have the correct equipment yet, and we're calling over FaceTime overseas. Therefore, please excuse the sound quality, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hello and welcome. This is Alex Taylor.
And this is Cara Moore, and you're listening to Alex and Cara's Agency Convo.
Today we'll be discussing the LGBTQ plus community and the problems that they currently face after we give you a 5-minute rundown of the past week's world news. Take it over, Cara.
Thank you very much, Alex. So, starting off, according to a letter obtained by the CNN, Biden has not yet asserted executive privilege to unlock files regarding information about the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Furthermore, Donald Trump has now filed a lawsuit to stop the National Archives from giving the documents to Congress with the argument that they are privileged. They are now getting the order overturned unless Trump gets a court order.
So, is this something that Trump wants, or is it?
No, he does not want to overturn. He does not want the files to be given to Congress. So he filed a lawsuit against them, but the National Archives is getting it overturned unless he gets a court order.
So Biden wants to release that, right?
No, he just he just hasn't asserted executive privilege as the president to get the files unlocked.
Oh, so yeah, he has bigger problems to focus on, basically.
I don't know much about politics, but that sounds about right. Alright, so next we have Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg kicked off the company's quarterly earnings call by addressing the new leak of internal documents on Monday. In the address, he said, quote, "Good faith criticisms helped us get better, but my view is that we are seeing coordinated efforts to selectively use leaked documents to paint a false picture of our company," Zuckerberg said. "The reality is that we have an open culture and encourages discussion and research on our work so we can make progress on many complex issues that are not specific to just us." Is it just me, or does Facebook have a lot of leaked files all the time?
I think so too. It's one of those. I don't trust it.
Yeah, it has it's
kind of scary.
Yeah, it's kind of suspicious. Didn't they rebrand and now they changed the name Facebook to something else like Mac or something?
No, I don't think so. It's still Facebook. But no, Facebook does own a lot of companies though. Like I mean not companies, but like different apps. Like Instagram is one of them. Snapchat. So.
Yeah.
Twitter, I think.
Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, all those things. Yeah.
Messenger.
Yep. So Sudan has now gone into crisis as its military dissolves and the government sharing power and declaring a state of emergency on Monday. This has crushed all hopes for the country's wish into a peaceful transition for power from the former president Omar al-Bashir in 2019.
Oh, I didn't. No, I think the thing is, I haven't heard much about Sudan and its military crisis. Obviously, because I cover the 5-minute news, I've come across it a few times and I've read articles about it. But
yeah,
there's just not as much information as other cases and other things, because they didn't even they didn't get their own web pages. It was just kind of like splurged on the page.
No.
And I just didn't have enough information to cover it. And yeah.
Yeah, I didn't find that.
And it's also something that I don't want to say it's unrelated, but it's just not reported on, and no one really knows about it. I think we could talk about the thing in coming topic if that's interesting.
Yeah, I actually really like that idea. Alright, so the daughter of a former top Saudi intelligence official told CNN that representatives of the Saudi government attempted to lure her into the same consulate where Jamal Khashoggi, who was a journalist in Sudan that was murdered in Istanbul, as a part of a series of threats against her and her family. She stated that she was glad she did not go, or her kids would not have a mom and dad, which is heartbreaking. So both
my
President Win Mint and Aung San Suu Kyi testified in court for the charges against them about the military coup in Myanmar. President Win Myint testified that there was no coup, and Aung San Suu Kyi testifies not guilty for the indictment that she was charged with last month. Aung San Suu Kyi, I apologize for my pronunciation of these names. Charges are several charges of corruption, which can carry a maximum sentence of 15 years, violating COVID pandemic restrictions during the 2020 election campaign, illegally importing and possessing walkie-talkies, and breaking the Colonial Era Official Secrets Act, which carries a maximum of 14 years in prison. So Wednesday marks the start of the 100-day countdown to the Beijing Winter Olympics, but not everyone is in the mood to celebrate, as officials instead race to suppress a widening outbreak of COVID-19. Wow, I actually watched the Tokyo Olympics, and it was actually really good.
Oh, I didn't watch much. I watched snippets of it, but I didn't get the chance to watch the full matches and stuff.
No, I loved it.
And that's because I had so many tests. I blame it on my school. Blame it on
Yeah, it was really good. We had it on all the time. It would play in the background during dinner and stuff. It was really good. Highly recommend. I'm actually really excited for the Beijing Olympics, but then I can understand how much Beijing probably doesn't want to host it because it's gonna cost so much money.
No, I think Beijing wants to host it.
I don't think any country actually wants to host the Olympics.
No, they do. They really do, because it increases the tourism rate. It increases the tourism rate.
And yeah, definitely that. But not during COVID, because during COVID, no one wants to travel.
Yeah, definitely not during COVID. But it was probably chosen before COVID, so now they kind of have to do it.
Yeah, now they hate it. Before it's really good for profit, but it does. I think it took 21 billion for Tokyo. 10% over their budget, which is crazy. Okay, so the last point we have is that flash flooding has turned roads into rivers in Catania, Italy this past weekend.
Wait. Well, I just wanted to cut in there and just mention that I think we've both covered so many floods and stuff, and just extreme weather events these past few weeks, not days, weeks.
No, not days.
Yeah, and I think that's partly, as we've mentioned before in other episodes, because of climate change, and I think it really shows that we need to do something, and we really need to take action.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Also, floods. I cannot think about floods and not think about that time. And I said that so many times, but
yeah, it's on our episode. What's it called?
Talk about nostalgia.
So I had this idea last night. I was just like, I know it's kind of irrelevant. Sorry, but I really, really feel like a book episode would be really cool, or a special episode. Obviously, a book can't be an episode because it's not a topic. Well, it could be, but I thought of an exclusive thing where we choose 4 books that we want to read, and we read them together and we discuss it in an episode.
Like a book club?
Yeah.
So we've tried doing this before and it just doesn't work.
No. As in it's a one-time thing. It's obviously not going to be every week.
Okay. I like that.
Okay, moving on.
All right. That was actually my last point in the 5-minute news, so it's your topic now.
Oh, yeah. Well, today's topic, again, is also really, really interesting. And I'm going to be more inclusive again. I'm going to try to do that. By that, I mean,
I hate being part of your little interviews.
Yeah, I'll try to include you somehow in this episode. Anyways, and it's the reason I chose this is because I think it's something that we need to be more vocal about, and I think it's just because there is so much hate towards this community. I think this is one of the most hated communities ever. I mean, racism is a key problem as well, but this is one of the bigger ones as well. I think there's more homophobia. Well, I'm not gonna touch into that, but
I would agree with you.
And the thing is, people really don't know much about it, and that's one of the reasons that they just join the others in and start hating. Don't do that.
Yeah, actually, I think schools are actually doing a really good job, or at least my school is doing a really good job at actually including this the LGBTQ as a part of a topic in certain lessons or assemblies, which I think is really nice.
I think that's really nice. That shows how my school doesn't do that. Yay!
Oh,
No, that's a sarcastic yay. Anyways, yes. And okay, think of parades, rainbows, and magic. So yeah, today's topic is the LGBTQ plus community, which I just mentioned again. And I will explain about this a little bit further to peel back the onion just a bit more. I'll explain a bit more.
Peel back the onion. That's really good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, okay. And explain the daily struggles that they face and the things you can do to help.
Yes.
So let's start with the definition, shall we? So LGBTQ is an acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or questioning. They are to describe the person's sexual orientation or gender identity. So let's dive into it more closely. Being lesbian, gay, and bisexual are all different types of like sexual orientation. And
Yes.
I think queer is also part of that, but I didn't include it. I didn't include it in this part because I thought it was like kind of in the middle a bit. Um, Lesbianism is when a woman endures a physical, romantic, and or emotional attraction to other women. And some lesbians may like to identify themselves as gay or gay women. Gay is an adjective used to describe people who endure a physical, romantic, and or an emotional attraction to the same sex. And
wait, I think gay also means happy, right?
Well, I'm just talking about the acronym, you know?
Sorry, it popped into my head for a second, but all right,
But yeah,
continue.
no, they used to say that a lot.
Yeah.
Just casually. But now it's like a gender thing, but not a gender thing, sexual orientation thing.
Yeah.
But it also means happy, so it has a really happy meaning. And lastly, bisexual. A bisexual person has the capacity to form enduring physical, romantic, and or emotional attraction to those in their own gender and those outside of their gender. And moving on to transgender, queer, and questioning. So, okay, transgender. This is a term for people whose gender identity or gender expression differs from the things that is normally associated with their birth sex. So, gender identity is a personal conception of oneself as female or male, while gender expression is how people show their identity. This can be through clothing, makeup, hairstyle, name, and pronoun choice. Many transgender people get prescribed hormones to align their bodies with their gender identity, and some also go through surgery to achieve this. But some also don't take these steps as a transgender identity, and because it's not dependent on physical appearance or procedures.
Oh, that's actually so interesting.
Right?
I've actually never heard like an actual LGBTQ plus like definition out loud. Like I think everyone has like a base knowledge of what it is, but like
Not everyone, but like
most people. Yeah. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And
we love
definitions. Okay. So queer is another adjective, but it's not. It's not the same one as the bisexual one. It's a different one. So this adjective is it's not. It's the sorry. People who the adjective is used by some people whose sexual orientation is not exclusively heterosexual or straight. People who identify as queer usually find the terms like lesbian, gay, and bisexual to be too limiting and or filled with cultural connotations that don't apply to them. They basically just don't like the labels and being put into just a specific box. Um Some may also use terms like queer and genderqueer to describe their gender identity and or gender expression. Like you say, "Oh, I'm like I'm." If you some people say I'm queer, and when they're like part of the LGBTQ community, and like
Yeah.
they're not necessarily like queer, they're just part of it. And, well, anyway, I'm pretty sure you can kind of guess what questioning is. It doesn't matter because I'll tell you anyway, but questioning describes someone who is questioning their sexual orientation or gender identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory.
Any questions?
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, it's actually really simple.
Yeah. Because it's an acronym. It works. It's the funny thing is, it's such a simple. The LGBTQ community is such a simple like term. It's just literally people who like have sexual orientation, but like the hatred
Gender
of the world
identity.
overcomplicates it. Like you love who you love, and like
You
just
are who
hating
you
on
are.
like Taylor Swift's song, like
You need to
hating
calm
them
down.
doesn't make them, like hating them doesn't make them any less gay. So why not just accept it?
You need to calm down.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! Like hating them isn't gonna make them any
Me.
less.
Oh, remember that? Me. The song Me.
Yeah, me.
Mm.
There
Anyways,
you go.
now that we're done with definitions, meanings, and such, let's move on to the problems that the LGBTQ community faces currently. And as this is our main focus for today, keep in mind this will be mainly focused in the US. One of the most obvious problems is the hate crimes against this community. Statistics show that 1 in 5 hate crimes committed in 2015 was due to sexual orientation, and another 2% was because of gender identity. Moreover, many transgender individuals have been victims of violent crime, and just in this year, 13 transgender people were killed. And transgender people are one of the most vulnerable minorities in our society, as they are many times victims of sexism, racism, transphobia, and most times poverty, putting them at an extremely high risk of violence. And to make it even worse, 16 states in the US still do not include gender or sexual orientation under the hate crime laws, and 13
What?
states only cover sexual orientation. At least they do cover that, but still 13 states don't cover gender um, identity, and 4 have no hate crime laws at all.
Oh.
One thing I'm actually happy about is in the US. Sorry, that was really, really somber, and it's
Yeah.
really, really upsetting. But no, I think they kind of released their first non-binary passports in the US. I think that's good.
Oh, that's so interesting. Wow, I didn't even think that passport. I didn't even think of passports. Wow.
Right? I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
So a completely different problem the LGBTQ plus community faces is parenting. Many states don't allow same-sex adoptions, and in 5 states, adoption agencies are legally allowed to deny same-sex couples from adopting because of their sexual orientation.
What? That's crazy.
It's mind-boggling. It's really really
They,
unfair.
it's not even unfair to the couple, but it's unfair to the child. They are denying the child's
A good
um
safe home.
to a good safe home. Like that's crazy. You can't speak on behalf of the child. Well, I mean, I guess as an adult, yes, you can, but like seriously,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
if the couple like has like, I don't even know what to say.
and okay, and I mean, and this is just so unfair and just so unjust. And
Yeah.
also, what's even more concerning is conversion therapy. I mean, you've heard of it too, right?
Oh God, I haven't heard about this in so long. I think I've only heard it briefly, but it like freaked me out.
Yeah, and yes, it's still not banned in all states. In most states, children, literal children, can still be sent to gay conversion therapy, quotation marks, which is an extremely harmful practice that the American Psychological Association has condemned.
Jesus
It doesn't
Christ.
work. It
I
nothing's gonna work to change their identity. The only thing it's gonna do is make them scared and upset, and I don't know, and
that's
ruin their childhood.
traumatizing. That's
It's PTSD.
that is child abuse.
It causes more problems than good. It doesn't cause any good. It just causes problems.
It's child abuse. Like I think I heard once of it shocked it therapy. That's child abuse. You electrocute. What's your freaking excuse? You electrocute a child because they want to express a certain way.
It just creates shame around that, and that's not good for their mental health and the way they perceive the world.
No, that is horrific.
And more problems that this community face, if this wasn't enough, is housing discrimination and unequal health care. So they also face so much discrimination in the criminal justice system as well, and there is an extremely upsetting history of abuse against the trans community in prison. And the thing is, they also have to be kept in solitary confinement just out of the fear of their safety. And obviously, they get a much heavier sentence because of being trans and because of being part of this community.
Yeah, I understand that. The criminal justice system, like, and discrimination is such a complicated subject, and it's just inhumane. I don't even know how we got to this point. Do you ever just like sit around and think, like, how did we get here?
Oh yeah, it's so
like
bad.
The cavemen had it easier.
There is so much racism in the criminal justice system, and the death penalty. It's so freaking unfair. Come on.
It makes me think of the quote, "Wars start in the minds of men."
Yeah, men.
I don't know why, but I love that quote. Wars start in the minds of men. It all just starts in your head.
I mean, yeah, wars were started because of men.
Yeah.
Right? It was male leaders. World War II. Male leaders.
Yeah, literally all the male.
World War I, I think, as well. Oh, good to know.
Males are the ones that start all the wars.
It's just
but it all starts in their heads, out of like some weird system in their minds that made them think that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And the depressing reality is that many members of this community feel scared to come out to their family members. And they have every right to be, because 40% of homeless youth in America identify as LGBTQ, and many of these youth would have probably been kicked out of their homes due to their sexual orientation and or gender identity. In addition, there's an extremely upsetting high rate of suicides among the members of this community. According to the Williams Institute, 41% of trans adults have attempted to commit suicide, and 10 to 20% of members of the LGBT adults commit suicide as well, and while the rest of the population is 4%, which is still a high number, but I really don't like the difference we see there, and I can really because I'm not part of this community. I'm like questioning. I don't know. Well, because I don't know what they go through and the amount of hate they receive on a daily basis, I really can't. Don't I just. I know I can't understand their pain and how massive the effects of transphobia and homophobia can really play on someone's mind.
Yeah. Actually just reminded me of this thing when in a drama project that I'm doing with my friends, one of the characters that I play is actually this girl. It's completely made up. Is like a homophobic girl who was like commenting on as a character, because we're displaying, it's a long story, but we're displacing how like it's like social media and like the fakeness of it. It's like it's really complicated, but the character that I was playing is this homophobic character who was like commenting on like how HIV. This is actually from one of my friends. He told me about the stigma around like how HIV is represented as like the gay virus, and how like it was like spread through. It's like it has like a really disturbing stigma of how people think that it comes from like gay people, and it like, and I was doing research on it and I found it like honestly like disgusting.
Yeah, I found it disgusting too. I didn't know about that. And well, that's it for today. And yeah, I really hope something does change and the education system starts teaching about this problem that is affecting so many of us.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, my school's already doing that, but
well, they can definitely improve though, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
No, but I don't improve. I think it would just. Actually, honestly, I think they're doing a really good job of it.
They could put more bathrooms for people who don't identify as a male or female, like non-binary.
Yeah. Definitely.
So there is so much room for improvement here in both our education systems, laws, and a lot, everything. And the criminal justice system, just the whole thing needs to change, basically.
Yeah.
And this is it for today. Again, if you want to join the fight, become an ally and help this community, be sure to educate yourself. Be sure to educate yourself. Let people come out in their own time. Don't stereotype. I'm so sorry. Anyways, if you want to join the fight, become an ally, and help this community, be sure to educate yourself, as that is one of the most important things you can do. And let people come out in their own time. Don't stereotype. Never out anyone, because as you've seen the number of homeless youths in America, you really need to be careful about you just can't out someone to their parents, because they will, or like anyone, because they will come out in their own time. And don't refer to someone as your LGBTQ friend, and always be inclusive, speak up, be vocal, use your voice, and importantly, use the right pronouns. There is so much more you can do in just so many ways. You can do your own research on that. You can do your own research into this topic and the problems they face and the things you can do to help. Anyways, some charities you can do to you can donate to are the Trevor Project, Human Rights Campaign, the Point Foundation, Australia Lesbian Foundation for Justice, the Family Equality Council, the Ali Forney Center, National Center for Transgender Equality, Services and Advocacy for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Elders, GLSEN, and Lambda Equal. And this will be linked, all of the charities. Lambda Legal, sorry. All the charities will be linked on our website, which is on our Instagram at our Gen Z podcast. And I would like you guys, again, to please educate yourself and always keep an open mind.
Why?
And moving on to our fun end, presented by Kara.
Yes.
The one and only Kara.
Passengers on a plane were forced to break up a fight between two passengers who were fighting over seat arrangements on a plane. The Delta airline, I believe. What started as a vocal argument quickly became violent as the two started to throw punches at each other, and passengers had to intervene.
So what happened?
So they were just two passengers who were fighting over seat arrangements on a plane.
That's embarrassing.
I'm not sure. It sounded quite petty. I think I don't know if it was like, oh, you got my seat, or oh, can I have the window or something like that.
I just don't have that kind of like ego, so I I'd be like, oh, it's your seat? I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'll just move to the seat next to the toilet. It's fine. It's a 12-hour flight, but that's fine. I paid for this seat, but whatever. It's fine. That's good. I just can't stand up for myself.
As well. But I'm terrified of planes, so like I never.
No, you wouldn't care. Like, you'd be like, okay.
I'd be like, just get me off just get me back like to where I am, please. I hate this.
I love planes. I don't know why. I feel so calm in them. I know I'm like flying 40,000 miles above. Like I know I'm flying like midair and I in a tin can in a metal can, and I can like fall any minute. But like still, it's really really cool.
No.
I kind of prefer plane rides over car rides.
They are literally a metal tube of death. Look at them.
It's so fun.
You could just drop out of the air, like in the middle of the flight, or like turbulence. I can't. You don't want to sit next to me on a plane because, like, I would literally be like grabbing onto you. Like,
No, I think it's because I've been flying for a long, long time. I mean, I started flying when I was like old enough to fly because my mom had to like take me places.
Nope.
And I was like, I think I was 6 months or something, but I could be much younger than that. But I was really, really young when I started flying.
Nope. Can't even think about it. I think
I've been flying like so much. It's really bad for the environment, but
it is really bad for the environment.
Really bad. Yeah. Anyways, it would be really nice if you guys kind of subscribed if you're watching on YouTube, liked, commented, whatever, review us, do anything, and we'll try to see it. Always yours, Alex and Cara.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you.